Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy WattsTV, man. And today we have a very, how should I say, a very uncomfortable story. So I know when I usually cover things on my channel, there's always like a sense of humor, and there isn't going to be any of that today because this story is, for lack of a better words, it's just it's genuinely disturbing. This story is mad disturbing. This is something that probably should, I mean, not probably, this is something that genuinely should not have happened. Um, Jesus Christ. So, a doctor in the hospital as well, I believe, they are being sued by a couple in Atlanta because apparently this couple baby was allegedly decapitated during the birth process. Yeah, this is a story that you don't hear every day, and you would think doctors in hospitals have like specialists. And matter of fact, I'm sure they have specialists, so things like this just do not happen, so they can prevent unfortunate situations like this from happening. But when I read this headline and I dug deeper into this story, man, it is disturbing, and it makes me realize, and it honestly it drives so much fear into my heart for when my wife and I have a child, because at the end of the day, a lot of these doctors don't care about you. These hospitals don't care about us. And there are times where some negligent mistakes happen, and it can cost a child, a person, whoever, their lives. So yeah, this kind of struck a little fear into my heart. I even feel weird about promoting myself after I just said all of that. I mean, you guys know what to do. I'll put the stuff on the screen as usual. It's just it's weird for me, like basically like selfishly promote myself when I'm talking about such a serious topic. You feel me? So I actually dug really deep into this topic. But my wife sent me a video of a TikToker who explains this entire situation a little more eloquently. So we're going to react to what she's saying, and then we are going to talk about it because I have questions, and to this day I am still very confused on how this even happened in the first place. So let's check out her video, see how she summarizes, and we'll talk in a sec.
I'm still processing this one because I have never been more horrified by a story than this. 21-year-old Trevion Taylor and Jessica Ross, 20, were expecting their first child. On July 9th, Miss Ross went into labor with their son, and they headed to the Southern Regional Medical Center in Atlanta. While Dr. Tracy St. Julian was delivering the baby, a complication occurred. The baby had a condition that made its shoulders wider than the cervix. This made the birth much harder, and a couple hours in, the mother requested to have a C-section instead. Ignoring this,
So the mother knew that there was some sort of complication, and she said, "Can I just have a C-section?" So instead of honoring that request, this doctor decided to just still try to do it like vaginally anyway. Ah, boy.
the doctor continued, and in the process, it's so hard to even describe. The doctor pulled so hard on that infant that every bone in its shoulders, neck, and skull were broken. Not just broken, shattered. Finally, when there was no fetal heartbeat, was
All right, so I want you guys to understand. Okay, so this entire time they are still trying to like vaginally deliver this baby. So the head is coming out. Like the head is supposed to come out first. It's not supposed to be the other way around. Okay, so while the head is coming out, while she's pushing, the doctor is literally pulling and grabbing the baby's head and trying to deliver it, but instead she's crushing its bones, and eventually she killed it. Eventually this baby was unfortunately no longer alive. So she was applying so much pressure that it eventually like just ended the child's life.
when the doctor was broken, shattered. Finally, when there was no fetal heartbeat, was when the doctor decided to move this to the operating room next door. When they removed that baby from its mother, they discovered it had been decapitated. All they had in their hands was the body and legs. It was still in the birth canal.
Okay, so again, I'm sorry I have to paint this picture because I feel like I had to look up things so many times, and then I also had to watch this woman's TikTok to get like a full picture of what was going on. Okay, so the head was still in the birth canal. They went into another operating room to finally do the C-section. When they did the C-section, they got the torso and the legs out, but the body was still in the birth canal, which means the head was still stuck, so the child was indeed decapitated. Jesus. Here I have so many issues with this, and I have so many questions, but I'll save them until like after the video is over.
They had to reach in there and pull it out vaginally. I know at this point your jaws are probably on the floor, horrified like I was, but it gets worse. They informed the couple that the baby had not made it, and when they asked to hold the baby, they were denied. They said that they could only look at him from afar, and in an attempt to cover up this gross negligence, they put the head back on top of the baby and wrapped it up so tightly that they couldn't tell it was two different pieces.
That's the part that really made me uncomfortable. Jesus. So instead of them taking accountability for what happened, one thing she left out is that they waited 4 days to tell her that that child was deceased, and the hospital didn't even tell her the child was deceased. Apparently they got a call from a funeral home. That's how they found out that their child passed away. They found out through like outside from external sources that their child has passed away, and they didn't hear this directly from the hospital. And not only that, they told them, so they then talked to the doctors. They said the baby's passed away, and they said, well, can we see it at least? Can we at least hold his body? Nope, can't even do that. So they propped up that is so sick, man. They propped up the baby's head and his torso and wrapped it so freaking tightly that it still looked like an actual baby. Ooh, wow. These people deserve to go to the depths of hell if this is obvious. If obviously if this is true, they deserve to go to the depths of hell. Like, you deserve everything that you're gonna get after this. Wow.
There was an in-house specialist at this medical center for exactly these kind of circumstances. But this lawsuit isn't just coming for the doctor in the hospital, but also for the staff and nurses.
Jesus
because in an
Christ.
attempt to cover their tracks, the staff took turns trying to convince the couple to not have an autopsy and to get the baby cremated. This is just another example of medical negligence when it comes to black women. Because that baby would have lived if they had honored the request to have the C-section earlier.
So the hospital staff took turns in trying to convince the parents not to have an autopsy done, to basically hide their negligence and for them not to take accountability. They are terrible. And honestly, this is probably one of the reasons why this is probably the reason why they got an attorney, because what the hell? Why are you convincing me? Why are you trying to convince me not to have an autopsy done on my child that just suddenly passed away? Something had to go wrong. I want to know what went wrong. So why I find it very odd that you are trying to convince me to cremate my child instead of getting an autopsy done to cover your tracks. That is absolutely insane. And the lack of accountability is so crazy to me. Oh my gosh. So I have a few questions. How did the hospital hide this for 4 days? How did the hospital hide this for 4 days? And did the parents not realize something was wrong from the jump? So before they went into the other operating room to have the C-section, when a baby is born, a baby is supposed to cry. If the baby is not crying, not making any noise, then that's going to raise some red flags. Why isn't my baby crying? I really want to know, did they ask those questions? Is my baby okay? And if they did ask those questions, I would love to know the doctor's response. Because obviously, if you don't hear a baby crying during childbirth, that is a problem. That is a huge problem. That means that something is wrong. The kid could possibly be not breathing, or the kid could possibly not be alive. And I mean, in this case, it wasn't. And my next question is, how long did it take for them to actually do the C-section after the mother tried to push, but the head was stuck in the birth canal? Like, after that, they went into a different operating room and the head was stuck, and they decided to do a C-section to get like the rest of the body out. But how long did that take them? Because a C-section is an actual procedure that takes a while. I mean, it's not just a snip snip quick thing. It's not quick. Like, this takes some time. It is an actual procedure. So you're telling me this entire time that you're having this C-section, that the doctors are, doing this C-section, this entire time they knew that this child was deceased, but they're still not telling the mother, not telling the father. They're still going through with this C-section, knowing that something is wrong, something went wrong. There is no heartbeat, but you're still going through this. So you pull the head out vaginally, you take the torso out via C-section, and you wrap both up together, and you just take it away. And you take it away for 4 days. And then on that fourth day, they find out that their kid is no longer here. That is insane. That is insane. And to find this out, I'm sure this was one of the most, oh man, I don't even know how to put it into words. This had to be one of the most traumatizing things that they have ever experienced in their life. Now that they know that they propped up their deceased child the way that they did, where they wrapped the body so tightly where it looked like the head was still intact with the body, they're gonna have that image in their heads for the rest of their lives, man. I seriously, guys. I mean, I pray for them. That's all that I can say. Pray for them, because that is insane. And you know what else sucks? I'm sure in a situation like this, as two parents, you are now questioning, well, what should I have done better? Or they could even possibly be blaming themselves at this point. Like, what could we have done? I can't even imagine how they feel right now. Jesus. If all of this is true, man, I genuinely feel really sorry for them. Please, guys, pray for them. This is not something that you hear every day. This is a really messed up story. This is very disturbing. This is actually probably one of the most disturbing stories that I've ever covered on this channel. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What do you guys think about this situation? But yeah, prayers to them. Pray for their entire family. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. And hopefully, more than likely, it will be a more cheery one. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace.